a classic because it's over 10 years old.
So it's gone up in value?
It's like vintage television. Wow.
Hello? Thank you for waiting. No, we waited for you. What's wrong?
Okay, for those of you who don't know, this is Miss Virginia Hey.
Hello.
Miss Raelee Hill. Miss Angela Dean.
And Mr. And that's it, goodbye.
Angela, take it over.
Okay, I was going to ask some questions, but first I think we'll get started. There's a microphone back there. The gentleman was raising his hand. Go ahead and line up with your questions for the Farscape panel, because there's a lot of people here and you probably all want a chance.
I know, now we can't see you.
How's it going?
Hi.
I got a baby here too. So.
You got a baby here.
Sweetheart.
Does the baby have a question?
Doesn't look like it. Question for you, because I know you don't have an exact count. What percentage of all of the episodes of Farscape involved you just being chased around the ship for an
I actually logged it in miles. 346 miles. What percentage of episodes involve us being chased around the ship for hours?
I would guess like 50.
Yeah.
50%. Yeah. Good question.
Hello.
Hello.
We appreciate you coming out and standing in the crowd with us. That's great. But I feel bad. This nice lady over here, we exchanged taking pictures of each other, and I'm such a photographer.
Well, we'll be the judge of that when you post yours online.
But I was just wondering if we can make it up for her so she can get a decent picture.
Oh, sure. Where is
What? She didn't have her camera?
I took the picture and I suck at photography. So.
Oh, right. Well, I'm sorry, what was your question?
Yeah.
That was it?
Oh, that was it?
Can we get a photo?
Go ahead.
With your partner? Correct?
No, she's a stranger. We just had to take a picture of her.
Sign language.
And she took mine while you was out here, and I took hers, but I sucked at taking it. It didn't turn out.
I probably won't quote them right, but you refer to the DRD with one blinking light as DRD Pike.
Yes.
And in, I believe it was the Peacekeeper Wars, you referred to the commander on the other ship as Commander Sleestack. And I was wondering if those were in the script for your ideas.
I think that Raelee and Virginia can verify that I never went off of the script.
Yeah, right.
Particularly bad when Raelee showed up in the beginning of season 4, because it grew over time.
Yeah.
And you could relate how it was. I don't recall ever leaving the script.
Yeah, right, okay.
The lovely little nickname I got.
What, Sputnik?
Yeah, nice. So sexy, Sputnik. That's great.
It's very sexy, Sputnik.
But you're twisted.
Depends on how you say it, right?
No, I'm not gonna do it.
Hello, Sputnik.
No. He was very spontaneous, shall we say. Rehearsals might run completely smoothly, and then what do you know, in the take, there's surprise.
Yeah.
That happened a bit.
You always made it better though, that's for sure.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Hello.
Hi.
While I love the entire show, some of my favorite
favorite performances by you, Ben, were the moments where you were either becoming or battling the Scorpius clone. And I was wondering if those were as fun for you as an actor as they were for us watching, or there were any particular difficulties.
For those, I guess most of you know what she's talking about, where Crichton was reaching the peak of his insanity, and he's battling with retaining his persona over becoming Scorpius. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
And we would shoot it in two separate phases, one where I'm me, looking like me, and the other where I'm in the Scorpius prosthetic. So we did them on separate days, basically. The least comfortable part about doing that was when I went to lick Claudia's face. She wasn't happy. It wasn't in the script.
I rest my briefing case. There you go.
I can't recall whether it was fun. You don't want Claudia angry at you. Yeah, it was fun. Next question.
Good afternoon. I first got to see Farscape through this Christmas because of a friend of mine from Russia.
Listen to you.
She explained that Russia has a huge following for Farscape. Incidentally, they'd love it if you do a convention out there sometime in Moscow. Not now with the fires and the smoke, but sometime soon.
Sometime in the winter.
Yeah. They need something to keep them cheerful. But one thing she pointed out is there's actually a lot of Russian imagery for Farscape. The peacekeeper symbol, the white silhouette on black with the red triangle, was the symbol for one of the armies during the revolution.
Yes, it was Bolsheviks and symbol. Yeah.
And in the 1812 episode, you were basically playing the character of Foolish Ivan, this Russian folk hero who somehow keeps screwing up but everything comes right for him. Was this something sort of intentionally rigged up on? Or was this a writer's joke?
Yeah, I played that character for the whole series. What was the question?
Well, I was asking if it was deliberate or a writer's in-joke, but it sounds like it was deliberate.
The imagery, yes, Ricky Ayers did a direct lift on that one for the Peacekeeper symbol. Yeah, and so the Peacekeeper, a lot of the patterning and ideas behind the Peacekeepers were sort of taken out of that propaganda style of art from basically the 20s and 30s that the Russians were using. So I believe that was a conscious decision. Yes.
Thank you very much.
That's why the Russians love us. Have you been to Russia? I believe it. Anybody here been to Russia? Yeah?
A few. Well, actually, a few people.
Is it worth going?
Yeah?
St. Petersburg.
Architecture's gorgeous. Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
I like to use these things as an educational
Yeah.
Yeah.
a way to bridge communities and cultures.
Vladivostok's. Has anybody been there? Apparently it's the closest one to the west, and nobody's been there. Okay, so just curious.
Americans need to travel more.
We need more holidays.
And Australians need to go.
I think you only get 2 weeks. Do you get 2 weeks? If I got 2 weeks, I'd be at home on the couch too. I wouldn't want to move anywhere. I mean, shoot.
I love to
We can have
travel.
more, I think.
I want someone to take me to Barbados.
You know there's always going to be a taker when you say that.
I don't know, like, most Americans just want a job. Once we get a job, we want a vacation.
Okay, hi. My question's for Ben.
Yes.
Your thought process, I wanted to know what your thought process was when writing John Quixote, and how it may have differed when you were writing the Stargate episode Bad Guys. the differences between writing.
Right, so the question is, what was my thought process when writing Don Quixote?
Or if they're even
Or what?
nothing.
Or anything else.
Anything else?
Like writing emails. No, I did not. John Quixote, for those of you who haven't seen the episode, was an episode where John was basically in a virtual game run by Stark, or an incarnation of Stark. And he was stuck in it in a cycle, moving through back and forth until he finally figured out how to win the game, as it were. So when I was writing it, I was interested in that, but I was also importantly interested in the lies that John was kind of telling himself about what was important, or what he believed was important, and how that interacted with the game. I also wanted to bring Virginia back on the show. Because, unlike some sci-fi shows, death is permanent on Farscape.
Yeah. Not in season 3 yet.
She wasn't dead. You just thought she was dead, but we did actually lose characters, and Zan was such a beautiful addition to the show, and Virginia did such a wonderful job with it. Then I really wanted to find a way to bring her and that mythology that Zan had and how important she was to John back to the show. So the most common comment that I got, the most common comment I got about it when people read the script was, what have you been smoking? I thought it was just kind of normal. And it is one of those heavily divisive episodes, I think, where if someone tuned into that episode for the first time they saw Farscape, there were probably a lot of stoners out there that went, I gotta watch this show. Dude, that's awesome, man. Where do I get this on DVD? But your discerning hardcore sci-fi fan was thinking, what the heck am I watching? But as far as writing in general, I did not write the episode that I'm credited with story by on Stargate. And let me be clear about that. There's a difference between story by and writing. The episodes I wrote on Farscape, I wrote every single word. From beginning to end, I did all the rewrites. If rewrites were needed, I would write them the night before. So that, those I wrote. The Stargate episode, I had a story idea. I gave it to the guys. I didn't expect them to use it. They used it. I said, fine. And then they said, we have to credit you. And I go, you don't have to credit me. But they wanted to credit me. So, my involvement in that was just pitching an idea, not actually doing the writing, which is really a very difficult job on any show. So, long answer. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask Raelee, of all the scenes or sequences that you were in, what was your favorite?
I really love working with Wayne. I did. As soon as I joined the cast, I thought, oh, this guy he's such the man for me. I thought Wayne concocted such a wonderful, one of the all-time great villains. I was talking about this yesterday in the panel. And so, I kind of planted a couple of seeds in the writers' heads. I kind of flirted with him a little bit, threw him a couple of glances, went Sputnik to him. I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed working any of the wire stuff I got to do. I didn't get to do an awful lot of it, but all that walking on wall stuff, it's so otherworldly. I mean, on what other show are you ever going to be able to do that kind of stuff? So the real physical stuff was heaps of fun on Farscape. Really lucky. Dramas, it just doesn't happen. Science fiction, Farscape, we got to play like that. It was a real gift. Really lucky. They were the favourites. They were the standouts. The other ones when we all got together and we all got to play together. I really liked that too. The whole cast in Moya there and Command. I thought they were fun too. Lots of antics. Antics with Anthony. Oh gee, antics, yes.
Just on the topic of Wayne, I was curious, Ben, if you worked with him to come up with an impression of him, or did you just stay at home and bust out your Scorpius one day?
Saying I'm busting out your Scorpius. Better than bust the Scorpius out right here. I think we can leave that one there. I did work with Wayne on that. I did. I invited him over to the house. I said, Wayne, bust out your Scorpius. Next question.
I just got into the show and I really like it. It's funny that you mentioned the last episode I left off on before coming here was the one where Zan exploded and died.
That was all her own stunt, too.
But my question is, I've been a real big fan of the show, but I've been a fan of Jim Henson's for my entire life, and I'm wondering if you guys were too, and how it was like to work with all of the puppets from Henson workshops.
Amazing, you go first.
Yeah, extraordinary. Yeah, of course. I was a fan of everything that I saw of Jim Henson's, all of his creations, movies, Muppets, Sesame Street, so forth, Dark Crystal. Loved his work. Jim Henson Company, Creature Shop, genius. And what's it like to work with the Muppets? Muppets! Animatronic characters. No, incredible. Really extraordinary to work with them.
Did they just kind of, were you always just, did you ever think of them as characters themselves?
Yeah.
Or just
Well, you have
with
to,
the
really.
puppeteers?
No, you have to think of them as real characters, because if we don't believe that they're characters, then you won't either. But it was really beautiful to watch them, because it's like a choreography. That all these people, sometimes 5, 8 people, in order to create one entity, all moving almost in slow motion. It's very eerie and beautiful to watch them create each character. It's fascinating for us.
Oh no, I completely agree. It was amazing to work with the creatures. They were beautiful, and it was a dance. You watch them all, they just out of sight of the camera there underneath you. You got to be careful not to tread on them. It was a dance between us and them. And as Virg said, you do have to believe that they're real, otherwise you won't. They were just more cast members. It was great. I was terrified to work with Brian. Absolutely terrified. I'm going to stab a simple thing.
No, he's a scary guy.
I couldn't. No, he's absolutely gorgeous. Oh God! No, I wasn't to the rat party. I could look him in the eye and go, "Yes, Mr. Henson. Yes, Mr. Henson." Oh. But no, he was great to work with. He was. Shush. Next.
Hi, I was wondering, Farscape seemed like it was such a fun show to be working on, and I was wondering if there were any kind of behind-the-scenes antics or any kind of anything that was just kind of fun going on.
Yes. In a word. Lots of antics.
Anthony Simcoe, who played Dargo. It seems like every sci-fi show they have a big guy, this studly warrior, who is the prankster on set, who is the one driving the humor and comedy. I guess because they're being stoic all the time, it's like letting the lid off of a can of Coke that you shook up or something. And Anthony's that way. He has this abusive, huge personality. For those of you who've seen him on stage, you know what we're talking about. He just had this tremendous energy. But it's a huge burden wearing prosthetics and makeups. And in spite of that, Anthony would come in and he would just do the most insane things. But the one sort of quintessential vision of Anthony that you get, by the time we got to the 3rd season, in the first season they put Anthony in his prosthetics and it was all one piece, he never got out of it. And so he's locked in this massive rubber bit. and they would sort of wheel him on the set and wheel him on. And in the second season, we were working very hot sheds at Homebush out in Sydney, Australia, and he literally fainted from exhaustion and dehydration, and they hauled him off in an ambulance. And so they came back and they went, we got to figure out a way to fix this. So his costume gradually got whittled down. His makeup got whittled down. So by the final year, he would show up to set for rehearsals wearing his eyebrows, his chin, his nose, and that was it. There was no, costume? No. Headpiece? No. It was just Dargo's face would show up on this big blokey Australian dude. And he would stand around in his flip-flops and a pair of boxer shorts. And that's it. And you'd rehearse the scene. Dargo up. And 15 minutes later, Dargo would appear in full battle regalia. And then he would do his thing. And then as soon as they called cut, Dargo down. And they would strip him down again. And then big blokey Australian in his shorts.
He was very funny. But there was always a lot of talk of butter in Last Tango in Paris with Dargo, with Anthony. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? One person said, thank you very much.
Butter?
Butter.
And Last Tango in Paris.
Yes. Don't you remember? He used to talk about what he would do to the marauder chicks, exactly, in detail, and it always involved butter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're closer. He's here, he's fine. That's great.
Yeah.
You're here trying to keep a straight face.
Next person.
Hello. This question is primarily for Ben, but I'd love to hear Virginia and Raeelee's take on it too. If Crichton could have somehow seen before he went through the wormhole all that would happen for good or for ill on the other side, would he have gone through? Would he have done the Farscape maneuver in the first place? And for the other two, if they had known what would happen, would